the clash of polygamous fathers. Friendship is strongest when poor, but most fragile when rich. Adrian and Marcus met when they were young. They had no money, but they had big dreams. They sat on a broken bench near the ocean and promised each other something. We rise together. We do not betray each other. Family first, friendship forever. They sealed it with a handshake and a prayer. That night became their secret oath. Years passed. Adrian built a shipping empire. His ships carried food, machines, clothes, and cars across seas. He hired good managers, trained sailors, and built a port that made the coastline busy day and night. Marcus found oil on land. He built refineries, signed deals with governments, and became one of the richest men in Africa. People in Lagos called them the Twin Kings, even though they were not related. But their homes were not simple. Both men were polygamists. Adrian had 3 wives, Sophia, Helena, and Clara. Marcus had 2 wives, Celine and Diana. The houses were big, full of children and workers. The dining tables were long, smiles were big in public. But inside the walls, many hearts were jealous, many eyes were watching, and many mouths whispered. Sophia was proud and powerful. She knew politicians and diplomats. She liked control. Helena was younger and liked building things. She handled new houses and hotels for the family. Clara was quiet, but she managed money like a genius. She could find a mistake on a paper in seconds. Celine was gentle and elegant. She hosted guests from around the world and ran a foundation for girls' education. Diana was a lawyer with a sharp mind. She knew many secrets and kept them in a private folder. Adrian and Marcus trusted each other more than they trusted anyone else. They signed joint deals. They shared offices. They even sent their children to the same schools. The children grew up like cousins. They took trips together and celebrated birthdays together. On the outside, everything looked perfect. But love has a way of testing strong promises. It often walks in quietly, like a thief in the night. It does not make noise at the door. It sits in the living room and waits. In this story, love came in the shape of a daughter's heart and a father's best friend. Once the first spark appeared, it was hard to put out. Fire started small, then it grew. The first small sign was a look that lasted a little too long, then a message sent a little too late at night, then a meeting that had a reason and later no reason at all. People began to notice. Not everyone, just the kind of people who always notice: drivers, maids, guards, and wives. The oath that Adrian and Marcus made was still there, but the ground under it was slowly breaking. One evening, Adrian and Marcus stood on a balcony looking at the city lights. "We built this life," Marcus said. "We did," Adrian replied. They did not know the house below them was already shaking. They did not know the storm had started, and it was not a business storm. It was a family storm, and family storms are always the hardest to survive. A man with many wives is a king of thrones and a king of silent wars. Adrian's home looked like a palace. So did Marcus's. The walls were tall. The gates were heavy. The floors shined like glass. People took photos outside and said, "What a beautiful life." But if you listened very closely in the hallway at night, you would hear a different sound. Soft arguments, careful insults, and little plans being made in secret. Sophia sat at the head of Adrian's table when he traveled. She handled guests with grace. She knew who owed the family favors. She knew which minister liked gifts and which one liked praise. She thought of herself as the first queen. She believed the family should follow her lead. Helena did not like that. She worked hard on real estate projects and felt she deserved more respect. Clara did not complain, but she watched everything and wrote notes. Quiet people are dangerous in a house full of noise. They do not speak much, but they see everything. In Marcus's home, Celine gently kept peace. She planned events and comforted the younger children. She also prayed for the family every morning. Diana was different. She was a fighter. She asked direct questions. Where did this money go? Why is this contract delayed? Who changed this clause? She had a private safe. Inside were copies of important documents, contracts, emails, bank slips. She did not plan to use them, but she did not plan to forget them either. Each wife wanted her children to be strong. Each wanted her children to inherit power. Sometimes the women acted like friends. They helped one another choose outfits and planned birthdays. But even then, they measured each other's steps. In a house with many wives, even laughter has a shadow. The children felt the pressure. The older ones were sent abroad to study. The younger ones were trained to speak boldly and walk tall. At family dinners, the boys tried to sound smart about business. The girls tried to sound kind and wise. Everyone wanted to make their father proud. But what truly made fathers proud was not the same thing that made mothers feel safe. The children learned to balance respect and ambition. It was not easy. Adrian and Marcus tried to keep peace. They organized picnics and game nights so the family could laugh together. But smiles forced by schedule cannot stop storms born from fear. The wives wanted security, the children wanted position, the fathers wanted control. All these wants lived under the same roof. And under that roof, a new secret was growing. A secret that would turn gentle looks into jealous fights and friendly dinners into cold wars. The secret had a name. The name was Ariana. The most dangerous love is not loud. It is the one that grows in silence. Ariana was Marcus's first daughter. She was bright and beautiful. She spoke with courage and walked with grace. Many men wanted to marry her. She smiled at them, but her heart did not move. Ariana did not want a love that looked good in photos. She wanted a love that felt safe and strong. Everyone believed Ariana would marry Damien, Adrian's eldest son. Damien was smart and serious. He wore suits that fit perfectly and spoke with confidence in meetings. People called him the next Adrian. A wedding between Ariana and Damien would join the two empires forever. Celine liked the idea. Sophia liked it too. Marcus and Adrian smiled whenever the idea came up. It sounded perfect. But Ariana did not love Damien. She liked him as a friend, maybe like a brother. She did not see him when she closed her eyes at night. When she dreamed about safety and wisdom, she saw someone else, Adrian. It started long ago when Ariana was young and Adrian protected her like a second father. He corrected her gently when she made mistakes. He clapped for her when she gave speeches. He once drove across the city to bring her a forgotten school file before an exam. She remembered his patience. She remembered his care. As Ariana grew, her feelings changed. She tried to fight them. She told herself, "This is wrong." She tried to avoid being alone with him. She kept busy with charity work and study. But love does not stop because you want it to. It waits. It returns. It knocks again and again. Adrian noticed Ariana too. He was not blind. He also tried to fight it. He told himself, "I am her father's friend. I am a husband. I am a leader." He kept distance where he could. He put other people in the room. He refused some invitations, but sometimes life removes a wall you are trying to keep up. Sometimes you turn a corner and meet the very thing you are running from. That happened in London. There was a global summit. Adrian and Marcus attended. Ariana came to speak for the family foundation. On the last night after a long dinner, Adrian and Ariana found themselves alone in a quiet lounge overlooking the river. They talked about work, about books, about fear and hope. Their voices became soft. Their eyes held too long. One moment of silence felt like a door opening. They kissed. It was a short kiss, but it was real. They both pulled away, shocked. "We can't," Adrian said. "I know," Ariana whispered. "They promised it would never happen again." They flew home the next day. They tried to forget. They could not, because some doors once opened refused to close. Secrets don't drown in oceans. They float to the surface when you least expect. Adrian and Ariana tried to be careful. They kept their messages short. They met only in places that seemed safe. They did not sit together at big events. They looked away when others watched. But a house with many people is a house with many eyes, and secrets, like smoke, always find a way to rise. A driver noticed Ariana's car arriving at Adrian's private villa when most people were asleep. He told another driver, and that driver told a cook, and the cook told a cleaner. A maid heard Ariana say Adrian's name softly while she prayed one evening. A bodyguard checked the camera by accident and saw two shadows holding hands in the back seat of a car. The picture was blurry, but the shape of the truth was clear. Whispers started like rain, light at first, then stronger. Something is happening. Who will tell who? Should we warn someone? Workers never say things loudly, but they say enough. Soon the whispers reached the wives. Sophia watched Adrian closely. She noticed he checked his phone more. He smiled at messages more. He looked troubled after certain calls. She had been married a long time. She understood the face of a man trying to hide a storm. Selene watched Ariana. She noticed her daughter was happy and sad at the same time. Some mornings Ariana sang. Some nights she cried quietly. A mother knows when joy is dangerous. Sophia and Selene did not speak to each other at first. They waited. They listened. They gathered small facts like stones. Diana, the lawyer, began to ask staff careful questions. She looked at trip schedules. Watch out for part 2 of the clash of polygamous fathers. The story is brought to you by Forges, written by Favor 00.